Welcome, bounty hunters and Star Wars fans alike. It is everyone's favorite Monday night show, All Fetts Are Off. I am Jason, the Tuscan Toast in Miami, Florida, and with me as always is Brian, the Charismatic Carillion in San Antonio, Texas. Brian, good evening, and how in the heck are you?
Good evening, listeners. How are all of us tonight?
Oh, man, we are good. Just another Monday night in Corona Haven.
or Hurricane Haven.
Oh, that's true. Hurricane. Oh, that's right. There was a little bit of a hurricane that blew through here on Saturday night, wasn't there?
It's already over?
Yeah, I hardly noticed because, I mean, I think we got more rain just in a regular, rainstorm than we did during this hurricane. So it blew. It blew right through, and it really didn't affect us at all, other than preparation. So everybody in South Florida is fine, and they're just tracking it now, coasting up the northern part of the eastern seaboard.
The beaches are still there?
Yeah, beaches are still here. The sand is still here. Everything went back to normal. I mean, everything was normal. I mean, there were places open Saturday night, so whatever. That's just kind of how we roll here in South Florida now that I can call myself a Floridian, that I'm registered to vote here now. So
yeah. And mail-in too?
Yeah, mail-in. Yeah, actually, I got my
mail.
Yeah, I got my mail-in ballot. So it was
excellent.
It was for this a couple of other school board elections and stuff like that. But I got that one, and then when the when the presidential election comes up, I'll mail that one in too. But my polling place is just 2 blocks over. I mean, I could walk over there, but not saying I will. Yeah, I'll just do it via mail.
Is a presidential eletion coming?
Something like that. I haven't been. I haven't been paying attention.
That it's delayed.
Oh, did they? Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Somebody sent a tweet that they're going to delay it.
News to me because of coronavirus.
They're gonna slip right past the Constitution and Congress and just delay the election.
Oh, that's just super interesting because I mean they didn't do it during World War II.
They're gonna pull a Palpatine.
I am the Senate.
I am the Senate.
So, anyways, man, how are things down in South Texas? Good? Bad?
Hot.
Ugly?
They're hot. Hot. We had some rain today too.
Oh, really? So now you have humidity.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's just like
it wasn't like rain on a Camino level or anything. You probably had Camino style rain. We didn't.
No, we had Camino style rain about 3 weeks ago, and then
3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So this rainstorm that passed through us. It was like just a few minutes of a little bit of a shower. It wasn't much of anything. So other parts might have gotten it, but here where I live in the western part of Dade County, nothing. Practically nothing. I mean,
well, that's the perfect time for a marathon.
Is it? Is it?
Not the marathon you're thinking.
Oh. Yeah.
There's 11 Star Wars movies available on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and about 4 of them I can stomach. This is a Star Wars fan show, and that's all I do is talk crap about it.
Yeah, much. That or you forget the characters, or forget some of the titles, or.
Dude, I don't remember what I had. I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. You can't expect me to remember every single Star Wars character that's out there in 11 plus movies and a million other shows, endless comic books and stories that are not part of canon apparently anymore. So you can't blame me for having a very bad memory when it comes to these things.
Can we go off topic since we're going to do so anyway? Probably.
Yeah,
at some
man.
point?
Yeah, let's do it.
You've got Netflix, don't you?
Of course.
Did you watch Transformers: War for Cybertron Chapter 1?
No, it's out already?
Oh. I've been telling you about this. I told you it was coming.
Well, you told me it was coming, but you didn't tell me what date. I have a calendar.
Okay. I binged it. I was so... And this is technically sci-fi, so it still kind of works for our podcast to a degree. Most Star Wars fans are going to be Transformers fans at some level.
Well, yeah, true. And remember, just because it's called All Fetts Are Off, it's still our show. We can do whatever we want. We're not, beholden to like Rupert Murdoch or anything. So we can do whatever we want.
So let me tell you, I was so jazzed for this thing.
Yeah, jazz.
I was
Jazz
so
hands.
jazzed. Nice little concert. I was so jazzed for this thing that it was coming on July 30th. So July 29th, when I got out of work, I didn't know what time zone Netflix released their new releases on. So I thought it would have been an Eastern release.
No,
so I thought
it's West Coast, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know it was West Coast. So
yeah.
I thought it was going to be an Eastern time zone release. So I threw Netflix on at 11 o'clock thinking that it was going to be loaded up, and it didn't get loaded up. And then I Googled what time it was going to be available, and then it said 2 a.m. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, 2 a.m.
2 a.m.? Oh, yeah.
But you know what?
What's up, buddy?
I waited.
Until 2 a.m.?
Yes. And I started binging it at 2 a.m. It was worth every minute of loss of sleep.
I mean, well, I definitely applaud your dedication. Definitely.
This deal, by the way, I got a pop-up window on my end. I don't know if you got it.
No, that's fine. Nobody can see it but us. Don't worry.
Okay. This thing, if you're a Gen 1 Transformers person, you're gonna have a biblical experience watching this thing.
A biblical experience.
Yes.
Oh, well.
I'm talking. They're all there.
Every single one.
They're all there. You got Prime. You got B. You got Wheeljack. You got Prowl. You got Ironhide. You got.
Wait a minute. Amazon Prime is there? I'm all over it.
You got Ironhide. You got.
What about the Dinobots?
No, they're not there yet.
You said everybody.
Yeah, it's gonna get there. You can tell. There's chapter 2 coming, which is called Earthbound. This was called Siege.
Are they?
Where Siege picks up is when they're on Cybertron and about to leave.
They're on Cybertron right now.
Yes.
Okay. Glorious.
And they're about to take off.
All right.
So, but all the Autobots and all the Decepticons are rendered in all of their Gen 1 goodness, man. It is not there. There's a little bit of modernization there for the anime, but they're all classically modeled.
All right, so
classic.
Oh, there's a video game called War for Cybertron. Is that what it's called? Not War for Cybertron?
The series is called War for Cybertron, but it's not the video game. This is
is it a trilogy?
Yeah, it's going to be a trilogy. There's 6 episodes in the first half.
Oh, hold on. Oh, this looks really good.
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
All right, well, I guess I know what I'm doing tonight instead of...
The story ties all the way to Alpha Trion and Orion Pax, the whole deal.
Oh, really? When before Optimus Prime was Optimus Prime?
Elite. Well, you're not going to see any of that, but it ties it.
Okay.
You're going to know. But Alita 1 is in here, Chromia is in here, and so is Moonracer.
Well, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, I'm
not going to tell you what happens to Moonracer.
I mean, I was gonna read a book, but I mean, yeah, I guess I'll watch television instead.
Omega Supreme.
That sounds
Magnus,
like Omega Supreme.
Soundwave, Shockwave.
That sounds like a burrito.
Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, Jetfire.
Dude, these are all awesome names.
Mirage is in there.
Okay, you have to remember it's been about almost maybe 30 years since I've really. I'm like I have 5 months left in my 30s, man. I can't remember, but it'll all come back to me. It will when I start watching it. We were young kids when all this stuff came out, you know, innocent children before taxes and Republicans and all those things.
Someone's joined us, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh. I've got to watch the series, Vader. Somebody said, oh, okay. Yeah, you got to watch it. So.
I don't know who you are or where you came from. But from now on, you do as I tell you. Okay? Okay.
You cannot go without seeing this if you're a Transformers fan. I'm telling you. It's just.
Yeah, I'll look into it. Now, you know, a lot of my Netflix viewing is done when I'm like going to bed, right? Because I can't just like, I mean, I can, but usually on a weeknight, my brain has been going at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's really difficult to get it to stop. So instead of stopping, I just slow it down. So I'll lay in bed, I'll have my phone, and then I'll be watching Netflix until my eyes get sleepy. So I'll do that tonight, and I'll check out the first episode. I'll see if I can.
It's an easy binge, man. 2 hours.
Oh, it's 2 hours for what they have right now. I probably won't be able to watch the whole thing for 2 hours tonight. But.
It's 6 22-minute episodes. It's an easy binge, dude.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, I'll see what I can tonight. At least as long as there's no commercials that are getting in my way of watching this stuff. It's so strange, man. And it's funny that you bring this up because I pay for the AT&T TV now, mostly for my mom so she can watch it. Because she's retired now and her funds are limited. But I use my billing zip code there in San Antonio. So she can watch her MSNBC and all of her other stuff that she likes to watch. Yeah. Now, I put it on in the morning, too. Like, the first thing I do when I get up, I get my little news thing. And then I start hearing commercials and seeing commercials. And I'm like, an ad? What is this? Now, I also pay for YouTube Premium. So I get no ads. Mind you, I see 0 ads in my day. I mean, we all know I work for the government. They don't give me ads. I see nothing. I have not been advertised anything. If I want to know what's going on in the outside world, I got to go to like Reddit or go on my Instagram and maybe see something that of interest me, but I see no ads. And it all started with Netflix, man. It just really spoiled me. It spoiled because then, and how difficult it is, like doing that and then going to watch the Cowboys play. And then having them, go to commercial break after every stoppage of play, it was so difficult, incredibly difficult for me. Now that may not happen, so.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to worry about that right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've already canceled the preseason, so, I mean, I don't know where we go from here. Canceling the preseason doesn't mean much, but,
Apparently the blue and white scrimmage is taking place, though.
Apparently. I mean, you're going to have to do it in a bubble just like the NBA is doing. And the Spurs won. They beat the Kings the other night.
And they're playing the Sixers tonight.
Yeah, they're going to play the Sixers tonight. So we'll see. Maybe they continue their streak of playoff berths.
That'd be something else if that happened.
If you want to call what they're doing right now a playoff, I don't know what this is. I don't know what the format is. I don't know if they hold on to their record from prior COVID.
I can tell you what the format is, but you're just going to. I mean, I could tell you.
Well, tell me. Tell me. We don't know.
All right. So they took in X number of teams from the West and X number of teams from the East, right?
11 from each. I know that. Yeah.
So, but what they did was they squeaked in one extra on the East because the East was that bad. There's one extra team in the East versus the West.
Right.
That's kind of throwing the whole thing lame. But they did that because the whole Eastern side, all the bottom half teams were 20 or 15 games out or whatnot, and they needed to throw one more to make it competitive. But the way this is going to work is they will all play 8 games, I believe. I believe it's 8 games. And then if a team gets within 4 games of the eighth slot, if they get within 4, then there's a 1-game playoff between 8 and 9 to get the 8th spot.
Kind of like how they do in the NCAA tournament, right?
But if they're 5 games out, then forget it. The 8th spot's locked.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so
but if you get within 4 games, you get a chance to the 1-game playoff.
So are they going to do?
And they are going to consider it part of the NBA playoffs. So if San Antonio does somehow get within 4 games, their playoff streak continues.
So if that's considered part of the playoffs, theoretically speaking, then let's say the Spurs make it within 4 games, they win that singular game.
No, they don't even need to win it. Just getting into that game, the streak is alive.
Right, the streak is alive. But let's think of it this way: so let's say the Spurs squeak in, right, win that game, go to the first round of the playoffs as the 8th seed, go all the way and win the NBA Finals, which we know they won't. Right? They would be the first team in NBA history to have to win 17 games to win the NBA title in the playoffs. Because right now all you have to win is 16, right?
That's
four games in four series. So they would be the first team to do that. The only team in NBA history that would probably have to do that, unless they expand the playoffs or turn it into best 5 out of 9, which I don't think they will.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
But that's interesting. Theoretically, that could happen.
Theoretically, it could happen.
It won't. It won't. But I mean, it's cool that it can. I mean, I think this whole idea is just completely absurd, anyways. I mean, I really do.
It is absurd. Yes.
I think it's completely absurd. It's still basketball, but it's really weird to watch. It just doesn't have the same feel. It just doesn't have the same. It just doesn't have it right now. It just doesn't have that NBA basketball atmosphere, and it's just impossible to have without fans getting involved. It's just really, really difficult. But whatever. It's still sports, and we get to watch it and see whatever happens. But it's funny that you mention how bad the Eastern Conference is. Historically, they have been a very bad conference, and there's maybe one or two teams that dominate. So, where has LeBron James spent his career? In the Eastern Conference, right?
The majority of it's been Cleveland. Majority of it.
Well, I mean, with Cleveland, then Miami, and then back to Cleveland, and now for the first time in his career.
Yeah, but the majority in Cleveland. The majority of there was a few seasons there in Miami, but I think the bulk of his time was Cleveland.
Right,
but in the East overall.
In the East overall, right? So he has had an easier path to the NBA Finals than any Western Conference team has. Now, they beat the Spurs in 2013, right? They were the better team in 2013. And then 2014 comes around, the Spurs completely changed the game of NBA basketball and played nothing but team basketball, and they just obliterate everybody that they play and win. So now LeBron James is with the Lakers, and of course he built a super team around him, just like he always does, right? And he finally has a chance to win in the Western Conference. Now let's say that he wins this year. All right, let's say he wins the NBA Finals this year. What do we call that? What do we consider that? I mean, it wasn't a shortened season. I mean, it was a shortened season, but it wasn't a lockout season. It was a season cut in half, right? I mean,
you have no choice but to consider it a championship.
Just like in 1999 when the Spurs won, even though it was a 50-game season, right?
Yeah, but nobody talks about that anymore.
Yeah, nobody does.
The asterisk thing that's dead and buried.
Yeah, I think it's dead and buried, but it's just this is just it's strange because you went from going full steam ahead, you're playing a regular NBA season, to just full stop. It's full stop for 4 months, and then that 5th month you start up again, and it's really it's an 8-game regular season, and then boom, playoffs. But everybody loves everybody loves playoff basketball. Playoff basketball is a different It has different DNA. It just has a different atmosphere and everything.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's a whole other season.
Yeah, and I think that the NBA was thinking this already. They're just like, look, we're just going to call the season a wash. We're going to go straight into the playoffs with how they're seeded now. Okay, no, we can't do that. We got to give them some games. Okay, cool. We're going to give them 8 games. Give them 8 games. Try to win those last few playoff spots that are still up in the air. And then you're going to go right back into it. Now, I don't think I'm going to watch this unless the Spurs make it to that within the 4th game or make it to the 8th seed and get in. But then the NBA playoffs, I'm going to watch it, man. That's NBA playoffs. And
that's playoff basketball. I'm going to watch too.
But then what do you do?
How can you not be compelled to watch it?
But then what do you do for next season? Because the season, I mean, it's a very, very short off season for the NBA. What do you do? What do you do starting in August when they're supposed to start? Was it August or October?
Well, the preseason will start in October, so I mean, you figure camps starting around late August, September.
Yeah, and so do you stay in the Orlando bubble? Which is
I believe that you'd have to stay in the bubble for the foreseeable future. Yes.
Right, you stay in the bubble for the foreseeable future, which is just up the road. You know? And nobody can go and watch the games. I'm super close. Yeah, I'm super close to the Spurs right now, and I can't see them. It's heartbreaking. But it is what it is, and we'll go there, and that's pretty much it, man. So, but anyways, we're here to talk about Star Wars. Apparently,
Star Wars is our show.
Yeah. So
we're not a sportscast, but
well, I mean, we could be. We can be whatever we want. It's all Fetts are off. So it doesn't matter what we talk about. It's our show, and no one has to pay to watch it, and we don't have to pay to be on. So we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. Whatever.
Also, we would like to give a shout out to our partners at Bad Customs.
Oh yeah.
For your needs for tumblers or shirts or keychains or trinkets, be sure to check out Bad Customs. We have a link that's on our page here on Twitter that you can use. Be sure to check those guys out if you have orders for birthdays or occasions or just wanting a keepsake.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out Bad Customs. They're great people.
Or if you just want to Photoshop Brian's face on Jar Jar's body,
God! Yeah, what the Misa
saying? So, definitely check her out.
All right, let's get to the overshot of today.
All right, so Lucasfilm, R-rated movies.
That's gonna be we're gonna go a little bit about that. Also, could Yoda be returning and via cloning?
Probably.
Also, Ron Howard talks a little bit about Solo, and a certain Disney Plus series got 15 Emmy nominations, and of course, there is a possibility of a dark version of an Order 66 film. But let's go ahead and kick it off with Lucasfilm potentially thinking about R-rated material. So let's get into this. What we think about this.
All right.
I can only see this as it's not going to be what people are thinking. I don't think Lucasfilm is saying, "Oh, let's just let's create a Star Wars movie where we can drop F-bombs all over the place." Like I don't think that's what they're talking about here. I think
talking violence.
I think what they're talking about,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're talking. I mean, I think they got to be discussing more darker violence in the films, which would incur the rated R restricted rating. I mean, let's try and remember what kind of rated R encompasses. It's not completely sex and language. I mean, it's.
But sex and language would be fantastic.
Right.
I wouldn't mind hearing Obi-Wan drop an F-bomb from time to time.
I'm gonna leave all that alone, and I'm gonna just. They're definitely probably looking at a darker, edgier, violent sequences in the action sequences. I would think.
Yeah.
That'd be my take. I think a great piece of that would depend on how that gets executed, of course, as to how successful that would be, or whether or not it would work at all. The only wrinkle I would say is this: if Disney stays in control of Lucasfilm, there's a whole lot of scuttlebutt going on where all this is going to end up in the future. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if Disney were to maintain control, I don't know how the rated R factor works, because that's not Disney's MO. Disney might let a PG-13 go, but I don't see Disney allowing a rated R film in their library. I just don't see it.
Well, let's look at it from the perspective of other companies that have done something similar, right? In the comic book world, wasn't Dark Horse Comics part of DC at the time, or at one point?
Dark Horse was on its own.
Well, they were on their own. Okay. I know DC or Marvel, they had a separate division that was more geared towards more adult themes. And it was, had a completely different name. You had no idea that it was Marvel at the time. I mean, now with the internet, you know everything. And it's completely branded in a different way.
Well, Dark Horse had a reputation for being the dark, violent, edgy comic.
Right. Disney
they were going to throw body parts and getting dismembered and language at you, and they were going to throw that stuff in your
Watchmen. Yes, thank you. Tex Utah. Thank you. Yes, Watchmen. So these. If you think about it that way, right? And when we're talking about it from a business and marketing perspective, that you take a company like Disney, which is family friendly, they take all of their assets and they group them all together, they throw them in Disney World, and they make money off of them. Now, if you were to kind of spin it off, right? Spin off to a different, I guess like a different, just a different division that's more adult themed, you could take some of these franchises like Star Wars or some of the maybe darker Disney movies, and you could make them, and you could still have that creative freedom to have the adult themes, but you probably wouldn't include that into your catalog of assets and materials that get marketed and pushed to the kids out in the Disney parks and things like that, in Disney stores. You could do it. They could totally do it. It's just it's going to come down to a business decision, and it's going to be a different pot of money that comes in. And I think you're going to attract a new set of fans if you do that too. You're going to attract some of those who just think, well, yeah, Star Wars is cool, but man, it's really marketed to kids. It's too kiddie. I like something with a little more violence. They like the Game of Thrones series. They like these things that are super edgy, and you can, I'm not saying you have to go Game of Thrones, full Game of Thrones, but you could go a little edgier, and you could just spin off a different division. You could call, not even a Disney name, just something, just pull something out of the air, and then you can group these Lucasfilm franchises or Lucasfilm characters into them and make them darker. I just think that's one way to go, because it's not marketed as a Disney film, which is synonymous with family-friendly stuff. So it's an idea. I did go to business school, so I'm not saying I did well, but I did go. I was there. University of Miami. I got my money.
Does Disney still own Touchstone?
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. If you really weren't paying attention, you wouldn't know that Touchstone Films was part of Disney. And
so why don't they slap it on Touchstone? I guess.
Right.
But
let's see. Is it? I don't even know if it's a thing. It's not even there anymore. It was a distribution label, but it's.
Oh, so that's gone.
Yeah. Okay. It's they're not doing it anymore. So. But yeah, you remember Touchstone Pictures, and they stopped. Oh, when did they stop? It's not saying when they stopped. 2016. Yeah, 2016. So
well,
but bring it back. Bring it back.
If you think about like what the most edgiest piece of Star Wars content we had was
Revenge of the Sith,
Episode 3 in Revenge of the Sith, because
PG-13, buddy.
That got a PG-13 for what happened to Anakin and Mustafar. Most kids between 10 and 13 will tell you, "Oh, that's no big deal." I don't know why that got rated PG-13. Most of them. Yeah, most of them will tell you.
Yeah, you can see worse things on the Republican National Committee's Twitter page. So you can.
So depending on where they're wanting to go with, and then with Sith plot lines coming up and projects but where you run into an issue is the projects on Disney Plus could not possibly go rated R.
No, man, because they're really
Plus,
pushing the kids.
Branded, man. That's branded. Yeah. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, they're really pushing the kid. They're really pushing the kid family friendly stuff. This is stuff that parents can sit down and watch with their 5-year-old kid and not have to worry about sex and violence or F-bombs. My typical Tuesday afternoon, basically.
Right.
Basically,
they cannot lose that dynamic at all. They can't.
Yeah.
Like that's just.
Yeah, you can. So what do? You make another streaming service, or
I can't see them doing that.
Or you get into a partnership with a different distribution label that can do those things, like Netflix, Amazon.
Right. You make a whole separate contract for those.
Exactly. Yeah. Optimus Prime. Who knows? But it's something to explore. But then again, the C-suite over at Disney, they need to decide. Look, do we want to get into this particular type of media business, right? Do we want to branch off and make something dark with what we already have? Now, it's a big decision to make because Star Wars absolutely has that potential because of the characters, the dark storyline, right? The tragedy of Darth Vader, which is where this all started, That's exactly what the Skywalker saga began as. It was the tragedy of Darth Vader, right? Not the redemption of Darth Vader, the tragedy, because he dies in the end. So, spoiler alert. he dies. So, but we'll just see. It'll be interesting to watch, just like everything else that we do around here. But it's something to consider. So, cool.
I think so. I think
right.
I think we covered all there is to cover on that particular one.
Okay. All right.
What are your feelings with a possible Order 66 movie?
You have to do it, man. You have to.
You have to do it?
You have to do it. You have to do it because when Order 66 was when it was introduced to us in episode 3, it kind of came out of nowhere, right? We there was no leading up to it, there was no building up to it, and there was explanation of what Order 66 was when we know what it was, but how the clones just went from execute Order 66. Okay, I'm going to murder my generals, and now we know why, because of that implant. But a lot went on. And we only saw a few of the Jedi Masters get wasted, right, during that Order 66, and with the epic music and everything like that, and how sad it was, But there could have been more to it, like what happened with Obi-Wan. He did survive, right? But there could have been some epic struggles and epic battles, and you're kind of seeing it in a retrospective, kind of like how Rogue One is, because that people will die in Rogue One and at the end, because you never hear from them ever again. And the same thing's going to happen with Order 66, but now you're painting the picture of how incredibly tragic and horrible this was in the Star Wars universe. And this is where you're starting to get into a more darker tone. But it has to have that. Star Wars is that darker tone. It's not just the light side. There is the dark side. And it's called the dark side because stuff gets dark. People die, right? People get killed. And to kind of sugarcoat that is doing a disservice to the franchise. It's doing a disservice to the narrative, to the franchise, and you have all these things that you can talk about and tell, and you can have epic stories, heroic stories, inspirational stories, in something a little more darker in an Order 66 film, and then you will truly appreciate what the Jedi went through. You can make it that way. You can have the Jedi be painted in a completely different light, because I'm going to tell you, Brian, right, and you're going to hear it here first on All Fetts Are Off, and I'm going to say this, right, I don't have a whole lot of respect for the Jedi. I don't. You want to know why?
Do tell.
Okay, so check out my theory. All right, my theory on this is that the Jedi Order has been around for a very long time. And what happens to an institution that is around for a very long time rests on some of its laurels. It can, right? I'm not saying it always does or stagnates, but they will rest on their laurels, and everything is tradition. Tradition. We do this because of tradition. We are always doing this because this is how it's always been done. That's how long-standing, successful institutions are. Now, the part of the fall of the Jedi was the arrogance of the Jedi, because we're awesome, we're badass, but we're, keepers of the peace. We're not soldiers. Okay, well, what are you? All right, what exactly are you? You can't claim to be a hero and a champion for good, but only choose your battles, especially if you're doing it for the government, right? You're not choosing your battles. It's not your job to choose battles, right? It's your job to protect the values of the larger institution. So if we're looking at the Jedi Order as a paramilitary arm of the Republic, then they have to maintain the values of what the Republic is. Now, they tried, but way too late. And even with Mace Windu going and saying that he was going to kill, right, the Emperor Palpatine when he was there, and, you know, getting lightning bolts and stuff like that. You were going against all of those values, right? And Anakin was right, because he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right saying, no, he has to stand trial. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. Dude, what? That's not how this works. That is not how an arm of a government that has these values and laws and rules acts. Okay? And Mace Windu was supposed to be one of the ultimate Jedi, you know, on the council, right? Saying that, Anakin, you're not a Jedi Master, but you're on this council, you know? But Anakin was right. Darth Vader was absolutely right. And what he did was probably the most light side thing that he could have done. Yeah, he sliced off Mace Windu's arm, and then Emperor Palpatine, you know, did the rest, right? But that was heroic, man. It really was, because he was maintaining those values, right? He believed so much that it was for selfish reasons, right? Because he wanted him alive, because he believed that the Emperor could help him save Padme. But of what he said, no, he has to stand trial, right? And then he said, I needed him. And what he did was he protected the Emperor from being murdered by Mace Windu, right? But we all know it probably would have ended things a lot quicker. But he did the right thing. He did what he was taught to do. So, the whole Jedi Order, they are not all holy and all-knowing. They are an institution that is full of themselves and believes that their values and that their traditions are above everyone else's, because they are one with the Force. So I think it's a load of crap. I think it's a load of garbage, and I think the Jedi got what they deserved. And I really think, right, as much as I'm not a big fan of the sequel trilogy, that Luke Skywalker was right. The Jedi Order needs to be abandoned. It should not be anymore, or reset. So that's what I think. You do an Order 66 movie talking about stuff like that, hey, I'm sold. I just wrote half of the script for you. You know? So it's a perspective. It's my perspective. But we're so caught up, right, in this light side versus dark side battle, right? We're so caught up with these two sides that we don't see what's in between, right? And what's in between and who suffers, it's the people, really. It really is. Because you have one force, right? Big force, right? And it's split up into two parts, right? By, you know, two different people. One is very selfish and one is very arrogant. You know, that's just it. One may be fighting for good, but they're super arrogant and they're super into themselves up until they're completely destroyed. And then everyone else is suffering in between. Planets are getting blown up. You know, Alderaan was obliterated. And we don't even know what was the planet that got destroyed in Episode 7. You know, by the Starkiller base. Nobody even said. You think it's Coruscant, but I don't know if it is or not.
It's not Coruscant.
Okay.
It's not Coruscant.
Okay.
Finn mentions it.
Does he?
Or maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what it is.
Someone says it. Finn or Poe.
Yeah, I was reading something and people were asking, is it Coruscant that got destroyed? I don't know. But look at who suffers because of this stupid fight between two opposing forces that are one with the Force. It's sad. It is, you know, and nobody really thinks of it that way because you just kind of think of what's in front of you, which is, you know, all the action and everything like that, and the personal struggles, you know, and Kylo Ren just being this really angsty young guy. But that's how, you know, Marines, that's how we are. So I don't blame him. So I don't know. That's just really my perspective. It's super hard to be on the side of the Jedi for a lot of these things. And you know how I was talking about the Sith communal or whatever they were doing. There was all those Sith in Episode 9 that were there when the Emperor was being resurrected. What are they called? What did you call them? The Sith followers or whatever they were. But anyways, I mean, if you do a story on that, you do a really dark story on that, now you're talking about completely different perspectives of the Force. And now it's going to be up to the viewer to decide, okay, which is good, which is bad. One just acts on emotion and instinct. The other one acts on principle and prestige. Come on. I mean, really? I mean, which is worse, you know? Maybe Emperor Palpatine was just one of a few, right? Maybe he was just like the worst of the bad eggs, right? He just happened to be super selfish. He just happened to be genocidal. You know, that's just it. And he just happened to be a Sith at the same time. You know, could he have been a Jedi and all those things? I don't know. Look at Count Dooku. He turned pretty quick. I mean, are you really turning? Or are you just making a decision? Does something flip? Is there a switch that flips inside of your midichlorians that say, oh, well, I'm going to be dark now. I'm going to be light now. What is it? We don't know. But I'm asking all these questions because all these things can be explored in all these movies. You can talk about all this stuff because right now it's just very broad and it's open to interpretation. Take that away from me. George Lucas, take that away from me and shape the story. You know, don't let me come up with these crazy conspiracy theories of Jedi being scum and stuff like that. Did I just blow your mind? Because your mind looks a little bit...
Well, Order 66 was touched on two times, other than what we saw in Episode 3. And it was elaborated on in two formats, one a video game and the other one the Clone Wars series and the series finale of Season 7.
Right.
Where we saw it elaborated on in the video game essence was with Fallen Order.
Okay.
Where the main character in Fallen Order is... There's a level that's played where it shows where he's as a Padawan, Kyle Kestis, and he's with his Jedi Master, and Order 66 is happening during a lesson, and you get to see a little bit more of what went on in that clip. Then you see what happened from Ahsoka's perspective. Well, she was with her clones, and you actually get to see her taking the chip out of Captain Rex.
Right, and I think we did.
Which you discover. Discover how that is how indeed Rex maintains his loyalty to Ahsoka. So those are the only two instances where you see Order 66 elaborated on, which comes into the challenge for an Order 66 film.
Okay, well, because
you're talking about 2 solid hours of only Order 66. You mean 2 solid hours of just this one aspect. Which
and that's
your Revenge of the Sith aspect. You got the aspect in Fallen Order, and then you got the aspect in Clone Wars, which you already know that there's some surviving Jedi. You know Ahsoka survived. You know Kyle Kestis survived. You know Obi-Wan survived. You know Yoda survived. So really the challenge is how you continue to elaborate on so much of what we've already seen.
Well, maybe you touch on those points. And again, maybe this movie is just about some of those Jedi that we haven't seen yet. Or, you know, other Jedi that are out there that are not necessarily Jedi Masters, but they are still in the war. And then maybe you just focus on a core Jedi group and they're, you know, fighting for survival. You would have to focus on core groups that had nothing to do with the content we just discussed.
Right. Because otherwise you're talking about replaying clips that you've already seen.
Right.
And that's not necessarily fresh material.
No, it's not fresh material. You can mention it for some fan service and to tie in things, but you know, focusing on a core group that you've never heard of, sure, do that. I mean, why not? I mean, you can do that. You can make up these stories. I mean, it's a story. You know, none of this is real anyways. You know, or maybe it really did happen in a galaxy far, far away, a really long time ago. Who knows? You know, but it's definitely something to think about. I mean, you know, we do the show, and I really don't know who watches this on YouTube, and we know our loyal fan base on Twitch and stuff like that. But if anybody just ever looks at this, right, from Lucasfilm or Disney and say, hey man, Jason and Brian got some really good ideas, which will never happen because hardly any of my ideas are any good to anybody. But think about it. We talk about this and they start making stuff like that. We can just say, you know what? I called it, because I've done that already. I've already done that.
Really, if you really wanted to do an Order 66 film and you wanted it to kick off, I think the group you got to look at is Bad Batch.
Okay.
And that's where you focus at, because one, we don't know a whole lot about Bad Batch other than the 3 stories that were in the Clone Wars Season 7.
Right.
2, were chips even implanted in Bad Batch because they were defective?
Oh, good question.
There's all this stuff you have to ask. We don't know that the Camino scientists put chips in Bad Batch. They were considered defects and were just shuffled off. So did they even get chips? That's your next question. If they didn't get chips, where were they during Order 66? And did they try and intervene? Because quite honestly, Bad Batch gave the appearance like they really didn't care for Jedi a whole lot. They might have just said, they're on their own.
Yeah, but then it can be another story of redemption. I care now. I see that y'all are good. Blah blah blah.
Well, that's where Fives would come into play, because Fives joined Bad Batch, and Fives actually had emotional ties to the Jedi and the Rex.
Right.
And he might have influenced Bad Batch to help out. This is all stuff you could probably swing a film about in Order 66. Now,
probably.
I don't know if that would be action-packed like you would want an Order 66 film to be. There's a whole lot of interpersonal character development that you got going on there to fit action sequences in. So, but, I mean, it's a risk you would take, but I think it's really the only way to go.
I agree. I think I didn't even think about that. Throwing Bad Batch in there, I think it's a really, really good idea. I think you can learn a lot more. They were, kind of like an A-team type thing that they had going on. Their A-team.
They were a lot of. I mean, they looked like hired guns to me.
Yeah, exactly. They had an A-team dynamic. Which always works. Oh God, excuse me. I'm sorry. It's been a long year. 2020, man. What level of Jumanji are we in right now?
I couldn't tell you.
About 150, I think, especially after this hurricane. Which is now threatening the Carolinas. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's a hurricane again. So let's hope everybody out there in Cape Hatteras and everything stays safe. So we kind of talked about that, and okay, so what is this thing you were talking about? Could Yoda be coming back via cloning?
So, with all these Disney Plus projects swirling around and all this stuff going on, people are talking about maybe Yoda coming back via cloning, and I mean, we could already be seeing that already in The Mandalorian, to be honest.
Oh yes, we could.
We don't know enough about the child as to where the child came from.
Baby Yoda.
And if the child is a clone of Yoda,
Baby Yoda,
then, I mean, this could be the whole deal right now. So, now, you wonder if if they're referring to a possibility of cloning Yoda with growth enhancement like the other clones.
Growth enhancement.
Well, because that's what happened to the clones on Camino.
You're going to give
Yoda.
Yoda
Growth enhancement.
Yoda gets insight.
Well, the clones on Camino had growth enhancement, so they could hurry up and build the army. So I mean, that's not taking place with the child.
Natural male
The child is
enhancement.
still aging regularly.
But he's 50. He's older than me.
Right.
He's older than you.
He's aging regularly according to his species.
And he gets to have chicken McNuggets whenever he wants.
Well, maybe some.
Not gain a pound. What happens to me?
Well, I don't know, but yeah. That don't work for humans.
I eat 38 chicken McNuggets, and then I change my entire lifestyle, and I lose 30 pounds. So, well, I mean, let's see where it goes. My sister loves Baby Yoda, and if he grows up to be old Yoda, I mean, it's gonna break her heart. But you're gonna have. How old is Yoda when he died? 800, 900?
Oh man. over 800.
So he was over 800, right? So let's say he's 50 years old now, and he acts like he's what? 5? Right? Something, right? Maybe 5, maybe
5 or 10.
Maybe 5 years old, I think, right? So if you
could be younger than 5.
So divided by 5.
I mean, the child looks like a toddler in The Mandalorian.
Wow. Yeah, he does. God, it's kind of weird. We don't know enough, and they didn't talk about it enough. But we'll see.
Well, the Easter eggs in the Mandalorian that lead us to the possibility of cloning are that one scientist guy that was with the person that hired Din Djarin for the job. Mm-hmm. He had the symbol of Kamino on his sleeve for the cloning project. Oh. That's what got everybody talking about cloning. Because he had that on his sleeve. That insignia.
Huh.
So whenever we saw that, yeah, I didn't think you would. When
what the hell's that supposed to mean?
What? What? Seriously? This is the fact you missed that is supposed to surprise me, honestly. When you didn't watch, I don't know how many episodes of Clone Wars, and you had to catch up,
to it eventually. I look, better late than never.
Should I be shocked if he misses an Easter egg in Mandalorian?
I got it. It's not even Easter yet.
Why should that surprise me?
It's not even. It's not going
to surprise me. It's not. It doesn't surprise me in the least.
All right. Well, maybe I'll surprise you one day.
But you have that there, and then you have the fact that Grand Moff Gideon is in the mix. So that's Imperial interest. Or at least remnants, Imperial remnants at least.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but what are they doing? Who's paying them? That's what I want to know. Why do they always have to have the helmets on? What's going on? I don't even know.
Who's paying the Empire? What are you talking about?
No, who's paying these stormtroopers in the Mandalorian if the Empire doesn't exist anymore? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Someone's paying them.
Well, somebody's paying them, but who? How are they getting paid?
Well, hey, okay. Are we assuming that the Rise of Skywalker is still canon? It has to still be canon, right? Because I mean, all this Lucas scuttlebutt hasn't happened yet. So as
for now,
Rise of Skywalker is still canon.
Yeah, let's assume for now.
I mean, let's not forget that Palpatine made an entire fleet. He built up 2-3 fleets worth. So there's money somewhere.
Yeah, who funded all this? That's what I want to know.
Undoubtedly, Palpatine funded it.
It's a lot of money, man.
Or the Palpatine clone, rather, because that's not really... We know now that the Palpatine that was in Rise was a clone.
Well, I never doubted that.
So obviously, this Palpatine clone has been funding stuff since the Death Star was blown up in Jedi. I mean, there was... If you play Battlefront 2 and if you play the 2 campaigns on there, you find out about an Operation Cinder.
What? What is this?
Operation Cinder.
What is that?
It's something Palpatine set up to ensure the survival of the Empire. You find out about it.
Oh, so it was kind of like... Oh, okay. All right. I got it. All right. So it was his contingency plan.
Yes.
Smart guy.
When Iden Versio goes aboard the Star Destroyer to talk to her father, the father brings this robot, and the robot has Palpatine's face on it, and he's discussing Operation Cinder with both of them.
Huh. This is in the game? This is in the game?
Yes, this is in Battlefront 2 on the campaign.
I didn't play it because I was so against all those loot boxes things, so I didn't...
No, but... Yes, the online sucked, but the campaign had a great story.
Oh, well, I can go on YouTube and just watch it, right?
Yes, you can go on YouTube and watch it, you cheater.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the lazy route.
That is lazy.
I'm gonna let other people do the work, and then I'm gonna take credit for it on this show.
It's not even hard, dude. They made it. It's the campaign is like a tutorial basically, so that you can play. It's a breeze to get through. You should just play it.
I'm sure it is. It's not a matter of interest. It's a matter of time. I guess. You know what I do? I have a lot of time on my hands.
You got time for Final Fantasy VII, right?
Dude, I blew through that, man. I binged the game. I mean, I blew right through it, and after I beat it, I haven't turned it on since.
How long did it take? How do you binge through Final Fantasy VII? That game is designed to take years.
No, because it was only the first half. It wasn't the whole.
Oh, so you're not done?
No,
so you're not done.
No, I'm done. I'm done with the game. But this no. Listen, okay. When Final Fantasy,
the first half. You just said it a second ago.
Yes,
because you're done with the first half.
Oh,
that's what you said.
My Lanta, let me explain. Final Fantasy VII, when it came out for the PS1, it was a super long game. It's about 100 hours for this game. There's 2 parts to it. One when you're in Midgar, and then...
You said that. You just said it's the first part.
Okay. It had 2... It didn't... Listen, hold on. Then you go outside... No,
I'm just quoting you.
Well, quit quoting me. All right? Fake news.
Why should I keep quoting you?
Stop it. You're fake news. Listen.
How can I be fake news? You're saying it right in front of me.
I finished the game, but there's 2 parts to it, and they haven't released it yet. They haven't finished it. So I finished what they have made. That's in front of me.
So you're not done.
Okay, depending on your perspective, no, I'm not done. But I finished what was given. I was finished what was available to me, and it took me 38 hours.
38 hours.
38 hours. A work week almost.
So you have 38 hours left to go.
No, for this next part, it has to be at least another 60.
So you got 60 hours left to go.
Probably, yeah. When they finish it, probably it's going to come out for the PS5.
So I'm telling you, the campaigns on Battlefront are 20 minutes or something like that. So you're prepared to invest 60 hours into Final Fantasy VII, but you can't give Battlefront 20, 30 minutes?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I can't give Battlefront 20, 30 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Well, because I got to go watch Transformers War on Cybertron now on Netflix, right? Right.
That's just 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's just 2 hours.
I mean, you spent 38 hours on Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, but you have to understand my day. I go to work. I work out. I go back to work. I go run. I come back. I work out again. I eat. I do dishes. I sit on my ass and I watch weird stuff and I read. How am I going to fit Battlefront into that very busy schedule? I'm such a busy man.
No, I'm pretty sure since you're able to figure out the aerodynamics of a
cow, yes, because that's important.
Figure out how to manage all this in your time management.
Because it's super important, Brian. You don't understand the physics, the hard work, the empirical evidence that was collected to find out the aerodynamics of a standing cow. Not even a moving one, a standing cow.
See, look, and you invest time into that, too. You invest time in finding out about aerodynamics of a cow. Exactly. You got all kinds of time on your hands, man.
Well, because we make time for things that are important to us, and apparently the aerodynamics of a cow are very, very important to me, and Battlefront 2 is not. And plus, I'd have to buy it, and I don't even know which system do I put it on, the PS4, the Xbox, which one? PC?
Xbox.
The Xbox?
Xbox.
I mean, are you saying that because you only have an Xbox?
Xbox Gold is about to be free, so why wouldn't you put it on there so you can get all the DLC free?
Wait, what? Why is it going to be free?
It's going to be free.
Really?
Yes.
I think I'm still paying on that, too.
Are you paying Game Pass or are you paying Gold?
Gold, I think.
Okay, well, Gold's about to... They're revamping Game Pass. So because they're revamping Game Pass, Gold is about to be gratis.
So, yeah, I'm paying $60 a year for this thing.
Yeah, you're getting posed because you could pay that for Game Pass and you could just you could get your games and just download them and get them on launch day and do whatever.
That's okay. I guess that's fine. I don't even know how much I'm paying for PlayStation Plus. I know I'm paying $5 a month for Nintendo Online.
Yeah, Nintendo Online, that's worth it. But you need to get out of PlayStation Plus. Just get out of that.
The math behind why Microsoft will kill Xbox Live Gold for Game Pass. They got to make up their mind. Well, whatever. I'll look more into it when the new consoles come out. I'm not going to invest too much into this.
Game Pass is going to be where it's at. Gold is going to just go free, which is fine by me because I'm nowhere near focused to Game Pass anytime soon. They want to make Gold free, go for it. That just helps me out.
I guess everything's going to go subscription service anyways, and then GameStop.
That's where it's headed. That's why they're looking at this, yeah.
Right, and then GameStop's going to go out of business after January.
No, they're not, because they're a toy pre-order place now. They don't do games anymore.
What? What do you mean they don't do games anymore?
They're a collectible pre-order destination now. Games are a thing of the past for them. That's not where they make.
How big is the market for that, Brian? You think it's enough to maintain all of their 3,000, 4,000 stores? Yeah, that's you, dude. Look at me. I have one shelf. I have one shelf.
You know,
one shelf.
Do you know how many more of me there are? Yeah, that's enough said.
Yeah, but I mean, is that enough to I can't even talk, to sustain their current business and all of their stores? All
Jason, just go visit the Star Wars Black Series fan page on Facebook, and you'll find out.
You know I won't go on Facebook.
It's more than enough.
You know I won't go on Facebook.
Okay, it's more than enough.
A bunch of Karens and anti-vaxxers. I don't think so.
More than enough.
I'm sorry, they're not anti-vaxxers. They're pro-diseasers.
Oh, so is that how you're defining everyone on our All Fetts Are Off page?
Not on our Twitter page.
You just said everybody on Facebook.
I didn't say everybody. I just said I just don't want to go on there because I don't.
I mean, there's an All Fetts Are Off page on Facebook, so I mean, if we're just,
I know. And did you see the post that I put on there about not vaccinating your kids? Come on.
Why would?
Oh, I do these things just to annoy you, Brian. Just because I love you and you're my cousin. So.
Well, are we gonna get into Emmy night or what?
Yeah. Let's talk about. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. No current plans for a Solo sequel? Okay.
I'm going to skip that, and we're going to talk about...
No, you don't have to skip it. Just there it is. They're not going to make a Solo sequel.
We're going to come back to it.
All right. Mandalorian receives 15 Emmy nominations.
Got 15 Emmy nominations.
Are we surprised?
No. I'm not surprised.
Well, then, cool. I think they earned it.
So do I. With everything that they've done to innovate to get that series off the ground, I think it's well earned.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm sure they got an Emmy nomination for visual effects because of the way you remember we described it. We were talking about how they did the dome and all of the other stuff, whatever.
It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff. So I mean, them giving 15 Emmy nominations, I'm not surprised at all. They've earned it. They put a lot of work into it. They've had a lot of good directors come on. We don't talk. I mean, we talk a lot about The Mandalorian here on this show, and now they're getting some kudos for it, as only Hollywood can give kudos to themselves. So that's just how it is,
Ron Howard's daughter directed an episode of The Mandalorian.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes.
Yep.
She directed an episode.
Yes, she did. Do you know why her name is Bryce Dallas Howard? You don't know?
She was upset JR got shot?
No. She's not that old, is she?
I don't know.
No, so
she might have watched it in syndication. I mean, it's in syndication.
So the reason that her name is Bryce Dallas Howard.
She didn't want Prescott to get franchise tag?
No. It's because, right, Ron Howard named their kids, right, or they put the name of the name of the city where they were conceived of in their names. That's true story. That is a true story. Conception happened in Dallas.
So what if someone was conceived in Punxsutawney?
Well, Punxsutawney Phil. There you go.
No, but the name of the groundhog is Phil, not Punxsutawney. It all just came together in one nickname because that's just how it ended up. The name of the groundhog's Phil.
Okay. Well, I mean, then that would be their name. It's interesting, man. Yeah.
So what if they were conceived in Djibouti?
Ew. That'd be hot. Then that'd be, yeah, that's just what it is. It's their middle name.
Djibouti?
Well, I mean, it's not Djibouti, but I mean, that's just how Ron Howard and his wife did it. Yeah.
I'm not going to elaborate on this because it's a family show. So I'm just
saying that's just.
I'm going to leave out what I was just going to say. I'm going to leave that out.
It's where she was constructed.
So, I would imagine that one of the Emmy nods went for score also.
Okay. Oh, really? For the music, it was good music.
I mean, it would have to be. And then they probably got something for writing.
Okay. Yeah, probably
or probably screenplay. They probably got something for screenplay. And then I'm sure costume. Isn't there a costume and design one too? I'm sure.
I don't know. Maybe. Probably. I mean,
do you not watch the Oscars or the Emmys? Do you not watch this stuff?
No. Why would I? Why?
I don't know.
It's all rigged anyways.
Why would a movie fan watch the Oscars? I have no idea. I have no clue why a movie fan wouldn't watch any of this stuff.
But I mean, it's not interesting. It's just like, hey, you did great. Here's a statue.
No. Hey, look, I'm on your side. Okay, when Joaquin Phoenix went up there and won an Emmy and an Oscar for doing the Joker, you had DC fans doing backflips and everything, and I'm saying, hey, it's just a trophy. But they're talking about how that was like an epic moment in film. I'm like, okay.
An epic moment in film?
I'm telling you, that's how they felt.
Okay.
I'm serious. Talk to any one of them.
Get me in touch with them, and I'll ask.
I don't have their information. I'm just in passing by, and just, I mean, even if you looked at reaction online, everyone went crazy when he won the awards.
I didn't know that. They went crazy?
They went absolutely nuts.
Okay.
Get off your phone, man. What's so interesting on your phone? Get off your phone.
Don't worry about it.
Turn on. What? Are you texting Djibouti?
No, I'm looking up Oscars for the last few years. I don't know who won it. This thing is 91 years ago? Wow.
What, the Oscars? Yeah.
Jesus.
They may not have much to talk about this year.
No, they won't. That's interesting. What do you do?
I have no idea, but I mean, getting movies into the Oscar crunch right now is going to be tough.
It is. Huh. I don't think anybody's even brought that up yet.
Well, it's so far away, but
they do it in February.
I mean, with movies getting delayed a year, 2 years, a year, 2 years, I don't know what they're going to have available to them come February. I have no idea.
Well, maybe they just don't have it either.
Your Oscar season is December to January. That's the movie studio's push. December to January.
Okay.
You know what they're going to have to do? They're going to have the Oscars will have no choice. They will have no choice but to enter films that were done on streaming media.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
They said in the last Oscars that those films could not enter because they were on a streaming format.
Right.
They're not going to have a choice now because there won't be an Oscars without it. Are you on your phone again?
I'm still looking it up.
I feel like a teacher. Put your phone down.
Okay, Dad. God. Yeah, you're right. They don't consider Netflix movies or any of those things.
Nope, that's going to have to change. They'll have no choice but to change.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to have an Academy Awards. No, they hadn't done it. They didn't do it during World War II.
Okay.
COVID.
That was a long time ago.
That wasn't that long ago. All right, it was a long time ago.
Just a few decades. I mean, no big deal.
Let's see here. Anyways, man, how you feeling? Pretty good?
Well, I think we're going to start going into Ron Howard.
Didn't we just talk about Ron Howard?
No. We talked about the 15 Emmy nominations on The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
Are you not keeping up with what we're talking about on our own format?
I'm reading the crawl because my printer was offline when I tried to print it, and I didn't want to go.
I know, and I told you we were going to jump to the Emmy thing first, and then we were going to circle back to Mandalorian. You're not paying attention to me.
Oh.
You know why? Because you're on your phone.
Okay, Dad. I'll get off my phone. I'm not even on my phone right now. All right, tell me what's going on. All right, talk about it.
So there's been a lot of conjecture and scuttlebutt and talk that there was going to be a Solo series coming to Disney Plus, and then they said, well, there's actually going to be a sequel film coming to Disney Plus, and they're going to put it on Disney Plus. But Ron Howard came out and said, if there is, it's not involving me, because as far as I'm concerned, no one's contacted myself or any of the people that I've worked with on Solo to do another Solo. So
it's just a rumor that kind of spread and got to him, right?
As far as Ron Howard is concerned, a Solo sequel, as of right now, is not being discussed because no one has gotten a hold of him to talk about it or any of his people. So,
well, no Solo film. There we go. I mean, it didn't do so hot in the box office. I mean,
but it's interesting the cult following it's gotten.
Yeah, it is. Mostly because of Childish Gambino.
Maybe.
I think it was really him, or maybe it's just because I'm a huge Lando fan. I think that's what it is.
Still, there's the whole matter of where you left everyone hanging with Darth Maul and Crimson Dawn.
Oh yeah, did they not? Okay, I remember when that movie came out, and I asked you, what the hell was that all about? What Darth Maul? What's going on here?
You find out that Darth Maul is in charge of Crimson Dawn.
Right. So we don't know anything of what he was saying after that. That was never brought up in Clone Wars or anything. It's completely. It's just that has been completely just been left untouched.
Well, in Clone Wars, the season 7 finale, you saw a glimpse of the Crimson Dawn bosses. There was Dryden Voss, and the other ones were talking to Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't recall it being alluded to in seasons 1 through 6. No.
Okay. Well, then I guess
Crimson Dawn is discussed, yes, but not who's running it.
Right. So So they got something to talk about. You know, maybe it can be another platform. It doesn't have to necessarily be a movie per se. Make a Darth Maul movie.
Right, but they're not. Oh no! Come on, man. No.
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 Why?
Because I don't want one.
What do you mean you don't want one?
I don't want one.
I would love one. With Ray Park playing him?
Yeah, no thanks.
I would. I'd be all over it.
I hate to tell you, man, but he's not much of an actor.
No, but he's an awesome. What is it?
Kung Fu? Fine. We're gonna do 2 hours of Kung Fu. I mean,
sure.
Just go stream something from Bruce Lee then. That's not,
All right, fine. You don't want one. I get it.
No, I don't. I mean, seriously. Talk about lame. Like, he's got nothing but like 10 words in the whole saga, and that's it.
Well, remember he played Toad in the original X-Men movie too.
Yeah, how many lines did he have?
Quit playing around. That's all he said.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Seems to be a repeating motif for this guy, doesn't it?
Sure, I guess.
Directors don't seem to think the guy can talk. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Incidentally, the 10 words he got in episode 1 were not spoken by him at that.
Why are you hating so much?
They got someone else to say them. What?
Why are you hating so much?
Look, I'm just pointing out facts. Did he or did he not say his lines in episode 1? Or was it someone else?
No, it was somebody else.
It was somebody else. So, what is it that directors cannot find confidence in him to say a lot of lines, or even his own?
All right. Color me convinced, mostly because I don't want to argue with you on this.
I mean, they're all, it's kind of like saying, hey, bring the guy that does all the kick stuff and nunchuck stuff and bring that guy in right now. And then he comes and he does his thing. Okay, you're done. Mm-hmm. Oh, but I thought I was going to read. No. We got a guy for that. Don't worry about it. It's not you. Don't worry. We'll dub it.
You'll be fine. It's not you. It's me.
We got a guy to dub for that. Don't worry about it. Just get off the picture. No, but you said that I was playing this part. Just get off the picture. We got a guy that's going to dub it. Don't worry about it. Just go away. You did your part. You got your kicks in. You got your punches in. That's all we needed. That's it. Talk about a level of respect.
Who does the voice of Darth Maul in the Clone Wars?
Oh, the dude that was Doomsday in Smallville. And not only was he Doomsday in Smallville, but he was Starkiller in The Force Unleashed.
Doomsday.
Sam Winter. Sam Winter is the guy's name.
Sam Winter. Let's see this.
Sam Winter.
Is he British?
No.
Oh, okay. I know who this dude is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. No kidding. Witwer. Sam Witwer.
Oh, Sam Witwer?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's him.
Something like that.
Okay. Yep, this is the guy who played Doomsday. And
Well, he's better known for... Well, where he got his start was Starkiller in Force Unleashed. But then, yeah, he did Doomsday in Smallville, and then he did the army guy that got killed in... Oh, what was that flick? The Stephen King flick. The Mist. He was the army private that got killed in The Mist.
The Mist?
Seriously, did you not see The Mist?
No, man, I haven't seen The Mist.
Okay.
I haven't. I got to though. Don't say anything about it because I really want to. There's a lot of things I haven't seen, man. There's a lot of media I got to catch up on. I'm really, really behind. You have to remember, dude. I was in this NBA program for a really, really, really long time too, and it just it sucked everything away.
The Mist was out a long time ago, my friend.
And I was in college, and I was working a bunch of jobs, and I was in the Marine Corps, and now this is the first time really in my life, right here. Starting in January, this is the first time that I am able to kind of enjoy not having to do anything but just go to work and come home and do the cool, fun things that I want to do.
Well,
I got a lot of catching up to do.
I don't want to pull the rug from underneath you or anything, but the plot centers around a mist.
I told you not to say anything. Great. You just told me the whole movie. I'm done. Oh man, what are we covering? Anything else?
I think we got an early show today, man. I think we're 10 minutes early.
Do we? All right. That's I think that's okay. It's been kind of it was been a long weekend because I mean even though this wasn't really much of a storm, me and my team that I work with over at the installation, we worked and we had a lot of operational training team meetings and things like that. So everyone did a fantastic job over there preparing. And I got to tell you, man, we got some of the smartest people in the federal government working here on the base in Miami, ready and prepared to take care of that base and all the soldiers and civilians that work there. So shout out to them. Love working with them. And they all worked hard. So it was kind of a long weekend for us, but hey, we're over it. We're just keeping an eye on other stuff out in the Atlantic if it pops up. Nothing really too concerning so far, but that can change overnight. That's just kind of how these things work. But all right, so next week we'll chat a little bit more, and that's pretty much it, man. I mean, it's a slow summer. We come up with as much content as we possibly can. We thank everybody for watching us. Guys, check out Brianna's page over at Bad Customs.
Yes,
check out her Instagram, her Facebook page. Order some cool stuff from her because I got to tell you, when you have somebody that always gets what they want for themselves. It's really hard to buy stuff for their birthday and Christmas and things like that. And these are some of those custom-made things that people really love and appreciate. So check out her page. She is our sponsor. We love her to death and everything that she does. So be sure to check her out. And we got to get her back on the show sometime, Brian, so she can kind of show off and showcase some of her new stuff. All right.
Absolutely. All
right, buddy. Hey, man, it was a good show. Good talking to you. I think I went on a rant, on a spiritual rant of the whole Force and light and dark side theory. So I have my spiel done. So hey, everybody, have a good night. Stay safe.
All right.
Wear your masks.
We're gonna yub nub out of here.
We're gonna yub nub out of here, everybody. All right. Good night, everyone.